Hey loves, Chad Putman here. Um, Wanted to make an honest talk, real share video with you today. So it's Wednesday, May 28th, and my 50th birthday is coming up on Saturday, May 31st. Hashtag Gemini. Much love to all of you out there, no matter your sign or your birthday or your rising sign or your moon sign. Anyways, I I'm having a lot of different feelings, and I thought that this is a good time to make a video and share honestly about where I'm at right now, and also uh, to just let everybody know that we all have times where we don't really know what's going to happen next, and we don't always have the answers. And I guess this is where, some of my mentors talk about it's not the destination, but about the journey. And, you know, turning 50 years old feels a little bit like a sledgehammer to the chest this week, only because it's halfway to 100. And, yeah, I mean, we're taught in our culture that, I don't know, I guess it's the golden years or later on, but, I work in a detox, and I work with a lot of people that have done the thing, right? Retired, and then end up struggling with alcoholism because they feel disconnected and left out from culture and stuff. So I don't think there's a magic age. I don't think there's a perfect time. And 50 at the end of the day is a number, and it just really accounts for the number of times that, you know, I've made it all the way around the sun. 50 times, that's actually not that long. 100 times, really not that long, right? When you think of it. And the beauty of having this human experience is really what the incredible part is. So, real talk, I'm scared as fuck, right? And that's okay. Couple things. One, this is going to be my new bedroom, and behind you is a Murphy bed situation that I got, so that I can have my bed, but also have this office as my studio for the work that I do with clients. And so tonight I'm actually going to sleep in my own bed, which sucks and also is beautiful at the same time. Um, it's part of the uncoupling process with my husband. We chatted a little bit earlier tonight, and it feels sad, and it doesn't feel um, like it's just part of the journey for our uncoupling. Who knows, what we'll end up doing with the house and all of those things. But he and I, when I think about the 50 years that I've been on this planet and having human experiences, he has been part of almost half of that. Over 22 years, he and I have been together. And so no wonder I'm sad, no wonder I'm sad that we're just not in the same place that we used to be. And so it's a transition, and I had made a commitment to myself that, by the time my birthday got here, that I would be in this office slash my new bedroom, and I'd have the bed and have it set up. And so I've had it for the last couple days, but I haven't wanted to sleep in it. I wanted to sleep next to him, and that's okay. And tonight I said, I need to sleep in this room. Not because I want to, but because it's the thing that's right for me right now, and that I need to do this. So, um, it's kind of like, growing up, when we, in my early 20s, graduating from high school and moving off to college and leaving my parents' nest and having no idea what was ahead of me. Never would I have imagined that I would have ended up in rehab at an early age of 21, and two rehabs and halfway houses and crisis centers and homeless and all of that. But falling out of the nest and cracking the egg and, you know, adventuring off into God knows what, led me to some really beautiful discoveries about life and my abilities and capacity to overcome things and really take this life and make the most of it. I work every day with people that struggle with addiction, alcoholism, opiate use disorder, benzos, people who are struggling with depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, folks that are suicidal and have made attempts or are considering taking their own life. And it's difficult work, but to be able to come out the other side of that, right? So after high school, I was in a psych hospital, because I thought I wanted to kill myself. And at the end of the day, I think it was more about just needing to be free and also to, live an honest life that was contrary to the culture that I lived in the early 1990s. Being gay was still not a protected class. We could be discriminated against based on our sexual orientation, including in New York. And here we are all these years later, and transgender people are being kicked out of the military for being who they are. So it's still a fucked up world. It's still a fucked up country. And I don't regret a fucking minute of it. I am so glad that I'm gay. I'm so glad that I live in the time that I live. I'm so glad that I've been part of the queer rights revolution. It was an honor in my life to co-host and help create Schenectady Pride. That's going to be coming up in June, and I love to see it flourishing and being what it is, even though I'm no longer in upstate New York and I'm down here in St. Petersburg, Florida. But I did that for 10 years, and it was just an incredible experience. And I knew that, there was just this beautiful queer culture in Schenectady and the greater Schenectady area that we just needed to celebrate. And they continue to do that, and we continue to do that. And this year, I'm not going to make it, but World Pride in New York City, off the chain. Congratulations to the people organizing that. I mean, if that's a big middle finger to the motherfuckers that are running this shit these days, congratulations, well done, and show up, be loud, be proud, and all month of June, let's just celebrate the hell out of our freedom despite what people want to control or make us be, right? And that, ironically comes to where I'm at in my 50s now, right? So in my 20s, it was about the sexual revolution. It was about the queer rights movement. And, I had the good fortune of going to school and, getting my master's degree in social work and doing the thing and all of that. And, then, I've shared on my video before that, a few years ago, despite all the magic in my life, I was imploding and fell back into addiction, in part because of my sex addiction. Back into, not first for the first time, just fell into crystal meth and chemsex, and it nearly destroyed my life. But it also created something new and beautiful, right? So this idea of crisis equals opportunity, the tattoo that I talk about all the time that I have, that this idea that sometimes the forest catches on fire and it burns down, and yet new incredible growth and new life come out of that terrible death. And so I never anticipated that my life would blow up when I was 47 and that everything would change, but I am so grateful for it at the same time. And I'm also in the process of working with a life coach now that is helping me to recognize that I can always choose a new direction in life, right? That I don't have to blow up my life to run in or to walk in a new direction, that I can make very conscious decisions to move in a new direction. And so that's why I'm here in this room, with a Murphy bed, and creating room for my practice and my growth, and why for my 50th birthday, I'm taking myself to Tulum, Mexico, but it's because it feels right and it feels adventurous and it feels authentic. So, yeah, so more about that and all good things to share as I head out this weekend for my birthday weekend all by myself to have a wonderful solo adventure for the weekend and to gracefully turn into my 50s, my new decade. But yeah, I also want to get current, as far as where I'm at with my chemsex addiction recovery, and I had a very close call on Sunday. I got myself into a situation that I thought was going to be one thing, and it turned out to be something else. And it turned out that the people that I ended up spending the evening with also enjoy smoking and partying. And if you know, you know. And I just was in the middle of that situation, there for the sex, but also the experience, and wondering how am I going to get out of this without getting high. And but for my guardian angels, my spirit guides, the powers that be, holy shit, I got out. I walked out of that room and got home and did my thing and didn't get high and didn't use. And I'm so grateful for that. Like, super, super grateful. I just celebrated a year back on March 21st since the last time I used any crystal meth, and I don't want to go back to it. I know that crystal meth is a big lie, that I think, it was brought into my life to create more powerful sexual experiences. And at the end of the day, I know that that's a false reality. It actually ruins sex. And I actually experienced it as it was happening around me on Sunday. The whole mood shifted and everybody just became tweaking, doing that thing that you do when you use meth, where you're no longer connected and you're just high and you just want to get higher, and the sex is there, but it's only there as a pacifier. It's just not fun. And part of the work that I've done in the last 2 years now, in part going to Puerto Rico and finding myself again and taking 10 months off of work, and then coming here to Fort Lauderdale and trying to restart things with my husband in this house and everything, what I've learned is that I can have incredible sex without drugs. Like I can do breath work and have an incredible body experience without drugs. I can go and ground next to the ocean and float in the ocean, and I can meditate and connect with the energy of the environment I'm in, the jungle of Costa Rica, on a cliff of a waterfalls, and feel the energy of life, and it not be about being high. Like it's a lie that we tell ourselves. And I'm grateful for my addict that lives within me, because he's taught me a lot. He's also burned down things that I guess I needed burned down at the time to learn and grow. But I'm also trying to choose new paths now where I don't have to burn things down. And part of that path is the work that I'm doing in relation to intimacy coaching. The people that I have had the privilege to work with, that have come to my practice, that have worked with me, just them experiencing being in their body and slowing down and breathing and maybe giving themselves pleasure, or maybe just hearing the meditation that I walk them through as part of my practice that is intuitive and empathic. It's just incredible to see them reconnect with their bodies. It's incredible to see them have light bulb moments. It's incredible to see them have the courage to do something different. And as a social worker, it's an honor and a privilege of my life to sit down and work with people, right? But in our culture, it says you can work with people this much, right? It's approved to do this much. So, I'm blessed and grateful to do the work that I do at the hospital and on the detox unit that I work in. But it's also like a cog in a wheel, right? It's part of the institutional structure of this is how we handle addiction and this is how we handle behavioral health in our culture. And the amount of recidivism that happens because there isn't huge shifts in a week or two that people come into the program, that like it's not the authentic work that I want to do, right? I know that I have a deeper purpose and I have the capacity to help people really transform their lives. And that's not the environment, although I'm super grateful and will continue to do that work because I do have an impact on people's lives that are struggling in addiction, and I can empathize and relate to their experience. But at the same time, I recognize that I'm a whole fucking human being, whole body, all of me, right? My cock, my balls, my ass, my feet, my toes, my hands, my eyebrows, my face, my tongue, like everything, all parts of me. And in our culture, we're taught that all of that's off limits, right? I can sit down and have a conversation with you as a therapist, and we can do cognitive restructuring and behavioral therapy, and we can do all kinds of things that work really amazing. And yet, at the same time, this idea of intimacy, the idea of touch, the idea of pleasure, the idea of all of these broken relationships, these broken internal structures that are like, I want to feel pleasure, I want to feel connected, I want to have sex and feel beautiful, and yet people don't, right? They don't. And I feel that my gift in my work and my struggle with sex addiction and recovery in general is that I have this gift and ability to connect with people and to walk through this really challenging landscape of what the fuck is healthy sexuality? What is intimacy? What does it mean to be in a relationship? What does it mean that I fell out of love with my partner of 20 years? What does it mean that I want to go out and have other sexual experiences? What does it mean when I live in a culture that says that it's not okay that I want to suck dick or that I want to get fucked by 5, 12, 15 people? Like, how do you make sense of all that? And that's the beauty of the work, right? That's the beauty of the work. And when I was introduced to Tantra and I went and worked with Daddy Guru in Costa Rica, it was about breath work. It was about mantras. It was about asanas and dropping into your body. And then, the work that I did with Mark in Costa Rica at this last jungle neighborhood retreat that I went to in March. It was about energy exchange. It was about meditating. We spent more time at this sex shaman workshop, right? Meditating individually, alone, connecting with ourselves, grounding, than we did doing anything else. And what I brought from that is just this incredible internal source that I have the ability to connect to the universe. I have the ability to connect to Mother Earth. I have the ability to connect with my own body. And I guess what makes me sad, that I'm still struggling with my sex addiction, is this idea that that I don't treat my body as sacred as I would like to. I take PrEP and I'm on Doxy when I need to take it. And for those of you that don't know what that is, basically PrEP helps prevent me from acquiring HIV from somebody who may have it if I have sexual, and I take that medication every day. And then Doxy is something you can take after having promiscuous sex. And so, after engaging and having sex with 4 or 5 different people in a night, it's a good idea to take some Doxy or you're going to end up with something. So, so I have those things and yet at the same time, it's like I don't also want to put myself in those situations where I feel like I need to take that too, right? So I'm working on it. I went to my Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous meeting tonight, and I'm grateful to have that space to process this. And no shame. The ability to have multiple sexual partners in a given night is beautiful. That sense of freedom and my desire to have that experience, but at the same time, sometimes afterwards I don't feel so great about it. And I don't know that it's the cultural thing. I think it's more the idea that my body's kind of like, ugh, that was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. And so I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I'm gonna be 50 in a couple days. So I just wanted to take a pause, create a video that was very honest and real as I prepare to turn 50, and say a couple things. One, doing some of the things that have scared me the most have had the greatest impact on my life, right? Falling out of my parents' nest and going off to college and moving off to Binghamton and then Albany and rehab and the drugs and the recovery and all of that, and pursuing a master's degree in social work, and falling in love and getting married and having an open relationship and getting into a throuple, and creating and running drug treatment programs, and then falling into chemsex and having to resign my job and sell my car, and choosing to go to San Juan, Puerto Rico for 10 months, and buying a house with my husband in St. Petersburg, Florida, and exploring the world, and falling into this life of being an intimacy coach and doing this work is terrifying. Especially when you live in a culture that says that you can't be intimate, that you can't connect with people on a sacred sexual spiritual practice, and yet, you know what, I'm gonna do it anyways. I feel it in my heart that I have a whole body and that I have all of me to share and to give and to connect and to receive, and part of the work that I'm here to do in this human life as Chad, and all the beautiful forms that I take, is to connect with people on a spiritual level and to recognize all of them and all of their capacities, and to help them find their essence in their belly and their groundedness to Gaia and the stardust on their skin, and give themselves the grace to be flawed and free, and the capacity to explore and expand their experience and to try something new, and to recognize that as humans we like to maintain and be creatures of habit. And yet one of the most beautiful signs that was down the road for me in San Juan, Puerto Rico, from the Airbnb that I just happened to rent, was that this is your comfort zone and this is where the magic happens. So here's to getting outside your comfort zone and exploring the magic that the world, the universe, that culture, that being a human being has to offer. And so on that note, I will say namaste, I love you, take care of yourself, know that you are loved, and continue to expand as the universe does. Trust your intuition, trust your heart, your inner guidance, and I will see you on the other side. Okay? Love you. Bye.